Just out the front of the Forbidden City, and looks like a group of school children going in to the Forbidden City.
Yes. Surely.
For an excursion for the day. This is one of the entrances to the Forbidden City. And this is Jack, our tour guide. This will just show you the benefit of having a tour guide in China. As you can see, these long queues here that are lining up for the tickets. And we've given our tour guide our money for a ticket, who ends up on the short guide for tour guides, which is over the back here. So you can see that we'll end up with the ticket and inside much faster and save a lot of time. Still in the courtyard of the Forbidden City. I thought we were inside, but we're still in the courtyard. Now this is the front court of the Forbidden City, which is really like an entrance. And as you scan around, you'll see these bridges which actually go over a man-made river in the centre of this front court, leading towards the entrance as we go further into the Forbidden City, which is right in front there. So these particular 5 bridges were utilised by different levels of hierarchy of officials and people who used to come here, with the most highest people leading through over the centre bridges and the less high officials going over bridges to the sides, both to the right and the left. These are the 2 lions at the beginning, at the entrance to the Forbidden City, which protect the Forbidden City. The one that we just saw was the male, is the larger one, and this one is the female lion. This was office space of the Forbidden City. It's absolutely huge. This is the Supreme Harmony Hall inside the Forbidden City. That's what the Chinese inscription on the top of this building says. So Jack tells me. He tells me that the Emperor would work inside this particular hall every day. And over to the side of this particular hall, there are a number of ornaments, such as the turtle, and we move along to the crane, and these symbols, Jack tells me, represents longevity in life. over further is a large sundial. And then there's a number of these particular burners which are incense burners at the entrance to the Supreme Harmony Hall. At the centre of the exterior of this is a set of steps which are closed off, which represent the steps which only the Emperor and his carriers would take to bring the Emperor up this particular path to the hall or back down to the ceremonial ground of this part of the Forbidden City. Again, you can see the number of incense burners at the front of this particular hall. I'm going to go up and have a look. Apparently we cannot go inside the hall, but we can look into the hall from the doorway. This is inside the Supreme Harmony Hall. Not sure how much you can see here. It's quite dark inside, but it looks like there's a platform where there's possibly a chair behind that wall. But if you have a look at the number of tourists who have a front-on view, you can see that I can't get there with a camera to take a straight-on view. But simply looks like a platform with some ornaments that I'm not sure of their meaning around it. This is a large copper vat that exists just outside the Supreme Harmony Hall that in ancient times the hall burnt many times. They would use the water inside this particular vat to extinguish the fires inside the hall, and also underneath the vat there is a section where they would put a fire that in winter time they would prevent the water from turning into ice. Okay, now I'm filming from behind the Harmony Supreme Hall, and this is the back of the Harmony Supreme Hall where the Emperor worked. Looking out, as you come out from here, you'll see a central line which is in the centre of these buildings, which divides the city from east to west. In the centre of that particular hall. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. In the centre is the Central Harmony Hall, which was used predominantly as a change room for the Emperor, who would change before he moved to the building towards the front, which was the, I get confused, Symphony, the Hall of Supreme whatever. And behind that is another hall, which is the Hall of Completeness, which is where the Emperor would hold banquets and elect high officials of the Forbidden City at different times of the year. As you can see, there's quite a lot of people around. It's very, very popular. This is a view from inside the Central Harmony Hall, where the Emperor would change clothes before he moved to commence his day's work. Unlike the main hall, this particular hall has not been renovated in many years.
Yeah, it's wrong Chinese, the wrong English, English translation.
Okay, now once again you can see that even though there's no usage in relation to the Forbidden City, the central stairway that the Emperor would travel between these particular buildings is closed off, and tourists move down the steps to the sides as lower officials in the time that the Forbidden City was operating would traverse, with only the Emperor and his carriers moving down the central aisle. We're now moving down to the inner court in the Forbidden City, which was where, until the 4th Emperor in the Qing dynasty had his bedroom. Apparently after that, the Emperor, being frightened of assassination in that particular time, changed his bedroom to a hidden location and had all the trees in the courtyards removed around this part of the Forbidden City, as he thought it would harbour potential assassins. Alright, we've now moved through the Forbidden City, and this particular building that we just saw the inside of it is called the Heavenly Serenity Building. And moving past this one in the centre, which I'll come to, and the one at the back is the
Empress. This building of Earth, that's the Earth Empress.
Is the earthly building, and this was where the Empress resided. The other one was where the Emperor resided, and those two buildings were built in 1420. This one was added later as the building of union and balance between heaven and earth, Emperor and Empress, government and common people as a symbol. This is the family garden, where the Emperor and his family would spend leisure time in this particular courtyard.